Dog pooped in the living room again, the owner said in an unpleasant way.
Dog mess, clean yourself up.
The next second, the two pieces of dog poop actually turned into two legs and jumped into the toilet. The owner is dumbfounded. He goes after them and opens the door. They see the poop leap beautifully, rolling over, flushing, all in one go. He thought he had gone crazy. He took a sip of wine to calm down, but then he accidentally spilled the wine. In his panic, he shouted again, Go
back in the bottle.
The wine immediately defied gravity. It went back into the bottle.
Oh my god, I have to wave my hand.
Today, Jack was accidentally struck by a bolt of lightning, and his life somehow turned on. He didn't know at the time that he had superpowers. All he had to do was ask, and his wishes would come true. At lunchtime, he casually complained to a colleague. The students he teaches are so disruptive. If only the classroom had been blown up. As soon as the words left his mouth, ran over to see. The classroom had been blown to bits, and all the mischievous students, and they were all dead. Jack ran home in shock and fear, and saw what had just happened. Now he finally understood the situation. He made a wish, and wished that the dead would come back to life. But this dead person, there was a wide range of people. In one night, all the corpses come back to life. Zombies come out of the ground. It's more exciting than Halloween. Jack soon realized he was in trouble. He immediately changed his tune. Back to yesterday, everything was back to the way it was. In a flash, he was back to the moment when he had lunch with his colleagues. But this time, he's learned his lesson. He stood in the doorway of the classroom, looking at the mischievous buggers. He made a new wish.
Top 10C become a model class. Kind and considerate. Oh, and eager to learn.
Sure enough, when Jack came back into the classroom, the students were transformed. Jack was overjoyed. This class is so easy. After the class was over, Jack saw the headmaster who had been targeting him. He'd have to settle his score. Jack made a wish to have the headmaster as his lapdog. Jack, I'm so happy to see you. I love your outfit. You're so well dressed. It's an honor to have you at the school. It's a great honor.
But to what you were wearing before. But your laissez-faire attitude to work is a great counterpoint to my by-the-book approach.
The power to make things happen. Jack's life is on the line. But where did this extra power come from? Silly him. He didn't know. A group of aliens are quietly watching him. Group of aliens who are not happy with humans discussing whether to wipe out the Earth. They plan to use a test to decide to select a human at random on Earth and give him the superpower to do what he wants. If that person uses their powers for good, then they would let the Earth go. If he uses his powers to do evil, then the Earth is doomed. This pie in the sky fell on the head of a loser. From that day on, Jack's life has been on a roll. Commanding his dog's poop to go down the toilet automatically. Ordered the family whiskey to be replaced by Mutai at the shop. When he wants to be smart, he can switch to Einstein in a second. And that's not all. What's even better is that he can bring dead people back to life just because he said he wanted to see what the pharaoh looked like. All the ancestors who died 2,000 years ago had to come out of the ground. Since he got his powers, he's been able to put his hands on everything and eat anything he wants. No matter how outrageous his wishes are, he can get it in a minute.
Dennis, be able to talk. Biscuits.
Having fun on his own, Jack remembers his best mate Tom. Tom has always had a crush on the PE teacher at school, but because of his stubborn and timid personality, he's always been unpopular. Jack has an idea, so he gives Tom a big present.
Worship Ray.
Hooray!
Jack watching the joke. Jack laughs. And from then on, the PE teacher worshipped Tom. It's like a soul. Not only did he hang a picture of Tom's head in his house, he also organized for the students to worship Tom as a god in class.
Oh Lord!
Unaware of this, Jack, he was going to ask Tom for credit. Tom then realized Jack was the cause of his trouble. He got into an argument with Jack. During the argument, Tom said, if you could do it, you wouldn't have to use your powers to make the goddess you like fall in love with you. Jack had been in love with her for a long time without saying a word. He agreed. He invited her home for dinner. He invites her over for dinner and prepares her dinner. During the conversation, she says she likes honest people. Jack reveals his secret. He reveals his secret.
I can make things happen. Anything.
The girl was dumbfounded by this. What hospital put this out there? When she didn't believe him, Jack immediately showed off his magic skills. Wanted a promotion and a raise. He wanted a bigger office. No problem with her wish out of the way. But the goddess couldn't see the results at home. The situation was awkward. When Jack was at a loss for words, a man broke the window and came in. The man's name is John and he's the goddess' perverted ex-boyfriend. He was jealous of Jack and the goddess. He threatens Jack with a gun to get out. But Jack is not afraid of a small gun. The two men struggle with each other. Goddess tried to talk him out of it. She's pissed First off, the date was a bust. Jack decided to teach John a lesson. With a wave of his hand, John went up to the ceiling. One more wave. John falls headfirst into a flower pot. Revenge is served. Jack said proudly, I can do anything with a wave of my hand. But little did he know, that's what he said would bring him death. The next day, as soon as the goddess arrived at work, she found out she had suddenly been promoted. She was treated with respect. She was also given a separate office with a view. The goddess instantly realized Jack wasn't lying. He really did have superpowers. She tried to find Jack and ask him about it, only to find Jack's house in shambles. He'd disappeared. This dog is covered in twine, trapped by a post, with a gun to his head. That's how outrageous it was. He's been kidnapped. John knocked him out, threatened him with the dog's life. You will
You're gonna say exactly what's on that piece of paper. You say a word that is not on that piece of paper, I killed the dog.
The dog's life is important. Jack could only do as he was told. The first wish is for all Englishmen to grow big ears and duck feet. With a wave of his hand, Jack was instantly transformed. Ha 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 ha. Second wish is for all police officers to wear pink uniforms. John's wish was strange and vulgar. Jack's teeth gnashing in anger. Meanwhile, Anna was searching the world for Jack. She suddenly remembered Jack and John hadn't gotten along last night. Oh no, John must be behind this. Anna rushed to John's house to rescue him. Upon entering the door, she saw Jack tied to a chair. Anna's intrusion disrupts John's plans. He forced Jack to say one last wish.
Friend West, be madly, deeply in love with Colonel Grant, co-chef.
Jack can't say it, but the dog is his heart. He has no choice. He had no choice but to give in. Anna is controlled and pounces on John. John happily let go of Jack's hand. Taking advantage of the moment, Jack rushed to make a wish to turn John into a dog, followed by a wish to untie the dog and himself. At last Jack was free. He waved his hand. Everything was back to the way it was. Trouble solved. Jack rushed to comfort Anna, but Anna's face was furious and left without saying a word.
I'm sorry.
Turned home in tears. Now he's stuck with the dog.
This is all my fault. You know, I was just thinking about myself, what I could get. And I was being selfish.
To do something good for all mankind. He wished that everyone in the world would have enough to eat, that all people would have a house to live in, to reverse global warming. As soon as the words left his mouth, as soon as the words were spoken, the emergency news started on the TV, but it wasn't a surprise. It was a shock. Food is increasing by leaps and bounds. The average person weighs more than 200 pounds. A little fat man. The Great Wall was crushed. The Sahara Desert is full of houses. You have to fly to the city to buy groceries. Global warming has reversed itself, but with these temperatures, I can't even wear 10-down jackets. Good intentions do bad things. Jack has made a mess of the world, with superpowers in his hands, but he's still a loser. Jack slumped in his chair. It's like he's been drained of all life. Instead of being a god who could do anything for everyone, instead, he became a worse person. Jack wanted to give up his powers. That's when the dog came up with a bold idea.
Then give them to me. You wouldn't have the powers, but you'd know what they were.
Jack had an epiphany. Maybe it could work, but by now, the aliens on the other side of the galaxy. On the other side of the galaxy, the aliens were already disappointed in Jack.
He has no concept of good or evil.
Well, the dogs seem alright.
Sadly, he has no concept of good or evil. Even dogs are smarter than him. Because of Jack's poor performance, the aliens decided to destroy Earth. But the second before they started the process, the dog made a wish.
If I have any power, let the source of that power be destroyed forever.
If I had superpowers, I'll make the place where the powers come from be destroyed forever. By the end of the story, the dog made everything. It's all back to the way it was. Jack was still the happy, normal guy, and the dog, only occasionally, a few human words.
I suppose I better keep my mouth